Hello, and today, for the third day in a row, I'd like to talk to you about the idea of giving. And why do you think I do that? Is that because I want to get something from you? No. I have plenty. There's plenty coming in from all sorts of sources, not necessarily human, but there is stuff coming in all the time. So it's not that I lack anything. But I'm doing this for you because it seems that a lot of people have a misunderstanding that if they give, they take away from themselves. And if I give something, an idea, a thought, or something physical, that I will have less. And there is this fear of not having enough, and sort of like tearing it away from your body. Or maybe that works in donating your kidneys or something. But with everything else, whatever you give, you get back even more. And you're thinking, well, what about the $100 that I lent to my friend 2 years ago and never got it back? You see, it doesn't work like that. You give to one person, but you get from the other source. It's always a little bit more complex than give and take and give. It's not between the two people. Because we're all one, you and me and him and her. It's one big organism, and we function like an organism, so there is rarely an even exchange between two parts of the organism. It's a network, and if you think about it, if you think back of what have you given and what have you received, and perhaps not from the same person that you've given to, but from different sources, a sudden income of love or anything else that is valued in our life. So you don't need to be afraid to give. The more you give, the more comes in, and the better the circulation is. And when so much comes in, you want to give and give and give even more. So the third giving rule today. The first one was do laundry. The second one was give an idea, give knowledge. So physical, mental, and the third one is spiritual. And today we're going to talk about spiritual giving. What is spiritual giving? Spiritual giving is thought-provoking idea, I guess. So let me explain. This is new to me too. So say most people talk about what they see and what happens around them. They talk about what their friends are up to. They talk about what they hear on TV or what they see around on the street. And don't you think that is a big waste of time to talk about what your neighbors did yesterday and who said what and where they went and who bought what and it just seems to be very shallow. There is nothing really to gain from gossip and discussing other people and discussing something that you heard on the radio, that there has been an accident somewhere and 3 people died. People that you never met, people that you don't know anything about, but you would discuss that with your partner during lunch or dinner for like half an hour and create this whole negative atmosphere around it. Instead, what you could do is think a little bit outside of the usual square. And I think, getting back to our training context, that this is an essential quality in any knight or slave, to be able to think outside the usual what I see and what I feel and what I read. Or you can read a lot of stuff, but more like of what is happening in this day-to-day life. Abstract ideas, and being able to think of something new, perhaps new to you, but also new to your queen, that can be discussed. And that's really worth the time, because it makes both people grow. You're using your brain, you're using some areas of your brain that usually sleep when you discuss other people's affairs and things that don't really require much thought. Who bought a new car and who's cheating on who and that sort of stuff, and watching some TV shows that really sort of put your brain to sleep, full stop. So abstract ideas. To give you an example, there are so many documentaries there on YouTube and to download as well. Documentaries about what we don't really think about our purpose of life, about our thought processes, about all sorts of abilities in certain people that we're not really aware of, and plenty of stuff that can be explored and talked about with your friends. And you will soon find out, if you get into this whole stream, that it is much more interesting and makes you grow a lot faster if you talk about abstract ideas rather than physical ideas that are in your daily life that you see. It's a very important ability. So your homework is to find an abstract idea and discuss it with somebody. Discuss an abstract idea. Well, you don't have to grab a cliche and bore something with a pointless talk, but it's an exchange. You have to engage with the other person to wake up the area in their brain that does think quite abstractly and can visualize something that you haven't read in your physics book and you can't really touch with your hands. So you wouldn't come up to somebody and say, hey, what do you think happens after death? Where do we go? Although that is a good start too, but you have to be a little more subtle with the idea, because most people are just not used to talk about abstract things and talk about things that nobody really talks about. So that's your little homework, and keep the results to yourself. I just want you to practice, because I think that's an ability that we should all develop, to give, to provoke your queen to think of some abstract ideas. And that's been a problem, and it still is a problem with a lot of people that I meet. Whenever I start something out of this world, which is very slightly out of this world, I get a look as if I'm talking about, as if I'm talking in Korean to them, and they never knew the language. It's like, oh, and it's a pity, because there could be another level of connection as well. We have a physical connection, we have an interest connection. We can talk about, we both like to eat vegetables, so we can talk about that, but that's not strong enough. There must be a spiritual connection as well. So we have these 3 levels to explore. Think about the 3 levels, and think about people around you, and if they are a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3 friend or partner or contact. And the more level 3 friends you have, the stronger our 1 is, and the stronger our whole human network is. And I think people can develop a lot of different abilities that we are not using, they're in us, that we haven't really touched on, by connecting with each other and by collectively thinking of these abstract ideas and what we could do about them. Is this out of this world? Am I speaking Korean or Thai? It's like, oh, what is she on about? And how is that related to feet and boots? It's not related to feet and boots. It's related to you, because I want you to have a 3rd level, 2nd level, and 1st level connection with your leader, which is me, which is your queen. And you are my knight, or you are my friend, I don't discriminate, but I want you to also be able to think on the third level, on the level of abstract ideas. So if I say we are connected, you think like, okay, there must be the Wi-Fi and the YouTube. It's not. It's more than that. That's the third level. That's when you go from Wi-Fi and YouTube that you can really see and feel and know, to the unknown level and explore. And there are answers within you, because it's in all of us, it's in our genes, it's in our wiring, and we all know. We just need to engage those areas in our brains and souls to tell us what is it that we know. Hey, getting over time. Okay, well, don't forget about your test. You still got a week. Bye bye.